Okay, so who here has a favorite superhero? Okay, what? Yeah, you.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man? Okay, why is he your favorite superhero? Because why?
I don't know.
Like, what qualities about him attracts you to that superhero?
He's tiny.
He's tiny? Okay. Yeah?
I like Batman.
You like Batman?
Because he's got like all the cool stuff. He has like all the cool machines and all the armor.
Okay.
I like Deadpool.
Deadpool? Okay.
Good Deadpool.
So with superheroes, you guys have each in your own favorite one. So back then with world religions, all their gods that these people worshipped were thought of as their superheroes. So that's what they thought back then. And today we have our superheroes who we all, look to and look up to. And back then they all worshipped these gods that were their superhero. So first off, with religions, we kind of want to define what is a religion. So the first thing is it's a unified system of thoughts, feelings, and actions. And it's shared by a group. So it's what they all thought about this God. And it gives its members an object, or it could be multiple objects, of devotion that they follow. So it could be a God or a spiritual concept. And it improves the personal moral conduct of the individuals. So it makes you kind of think of your actions and how those are affecting others. And it deals with the supernatural or the spiritual forces beyond the control of humans. So the next thing we want to look at is world religions versus local religions. So what we're going to be looking at today is world religions, which brought together people with different languages and cultural traditions. Now, world religions are portable. They can be, from one part of the world all the way to another. It's very easily, accessible to multiple groups of people. Whereas with the local religion, it's centered more on the local gods of that state or country and goddesses, sacred places, astrology, magic, shamans. And an example of a local religion would be when the Roman state went from a republic to an autocratic empire. The leaders were transformed from just ordinary individuals into gods, and the people actually worshiped them. So now we're going to look at the timeline of world religions. So we're going to be looking at Era 3. That's where we're going to be zooming in. And the 4 world religions that I focused on were Hinduism, which was the first, Judaism, Buddhism, and Christianity. So now we're going to watch a little video that shows when these religions all started. So if you see, that's the birth of Krishna, and that's the beginning of Hinduism. So when these colored kind of blobs go out, that's the spread of the religion. So for Judaism, they have the birth of Abraham and a couple other events. Now the next one is the birth of Buddha, which is with Buddhism, and that spread over there. And then with Christianity, they have the death of Jesus, and then that shows how that spread out through the region. So now I'm going to ask you a couple questions. With these 2 maps, one of them shows the birth of Christianity, and one shows the birth of Buddhism. Now, do you guys know which map shows which? Yeah.
Map A shows Buddhism.
Okay. So this one shows Buddhism. Why do you think that?
Because Buddhism is in India and China.
Okay. Good. So then map B would be Christianity. So what do you guys think these kind of arrows represent? Yeah.
Like how the religion started to spread across
Okay.
the world.
Right, yeah, so each one, this just shows how the religion is spreading. If you can see, it goes all throughout the continent. It shows how portable those religions were. So now we have, these are the 4 major religions that I'm talking about. All of them offer different paths to self-transformation. They offer eternal salvation in one form or another. However, they all differed from one another. Each one offered distinctive answers to questions about the human condition, different ways of approaching worship. Now, Christianity and Judaism were monotheistic. Does anyone know what monotheistic means? Yeah.
One God.
Yeah, so they worship one all-powerful, all-knowing God. And Hinduism, where's that, right here, is polytheistic. Does anyone know what that is? Yeah.
They worship multiple gods.
Yeah, so they worship many different gods in their religion. Now Buddhism is a little different. It's pantheistic. So that's the belief that everything around you, everything in the whole universe is divine and can be worshipped. So the main thing that religions try to do is answer questions that science doesn't really address. And one of those questions is the meaning of life and what happens after death. So in Christianity, they believe in heaven. So after you die, you would go to heaven as an eternal resting place. And in Buddhism, it's more thought of, it's more symbolic. So when you pass away, you reach an end of suffering, and then you go to nirvana, which is what they call the end after their life. Hopefully that gave you guys a little intro to world religions that you guys will be focusing on soon.